When we've moved through so much challenge and change, our capacity to hold it grows. We actually get really good at holding the difficulty. Almost too good. To the point where we can start to expect difficulty and brace it before it even arrives. But what about joy? Do we wait for it to find us again after the difficulty resolves? Or can we meet it, invite it in, even in the midst of that difficulty? I don't believe that difficulty and joy need to take turns. I believe that they can coexist. It's just a matter of where we look for it and how we engage with it. So if that's where you are, looking for more light within the difficulty, welcome. Let's see what this reading has in store for you today. And if this reading opens a door that you want to walk through and go deeper with, the links to my inner circle and private sessions are in the description. There are 3 soul paths here for you to choose from. You can choose one or all 3. Timestamps are in the description box. For those who would like a close-up of the cards today, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have the Sunset. For Soul Path 2, we have the Flower and Butterfly. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Embers. When you feel ready, choose the pile that is calling you in the most. Click on the timestamp for your reading, and I'll see you there. For those who chose the Sunset or the Fire card, welcome into your message. Before we get into your tarot reading, I want to know what this card means for you. Why were you drawn to it? I would love to hear in the comments. What I'm seeing and sensing in this card here is that there is some kind of breakthrough. There is the dawn of a new day, and with that, the end of some kind of dark night. An ending, but also a beginning, or maybe a beginning that calls in an ending. Either way, something I feel is being sunsetted for you, or rising for you in equal measure. And the difficulty may be the darkness, may be the things that you've gone through and experienced without really having a lot of answers. This is really giving me 10 of Swords energy, where something painful is coming to an end. And I feel that you've had some kind of hand in that ending, whether it's something that you've reached a breaking point with, or you have discovered something new about yourself, and in turn, things are changing because of that awareness, because of that knowledge or knowing. And maybe there's an ignition of a new passion, a new desire, a new devotion to something. So let's get into your tarot now, and let's see what else wants to be revealed in your reading today. Soul Path 1, Spirit. Thank you, the Tower. And I chuckle because this is the energy that I was feeling. There's something really challenging here, and there's something that feels quite grand, like so many familiarities and pillars of structure that you have leaned on for comfort, for strength, for identity, are falling away. And this could be a conscious choice. Could be a choice that you've made, or something that you're experiencing, where maybe internal shifts have happened, and that has readjusted or reorganized the external world in some degree. But what's happening in this card, and with the Tower card in general, is that this destruction, this collapse, is necessary for the new, for the light to shine in. because whatever was there before was blocking the light, was blocking what was to come next. So I'm getting very similar, if not the same energy from this. And this difficulty that you are moving through, which may be conscious or not, is opening something up for you. But it is really challenging because so many things that you've leaned on for that identity, for the support, for the structure, the routine, the money, something that gave you a foundation has crumbled or is falling apart. And this could be in multiple areas of your life. So let's keep going and see where the joy can be found. The Hermit in reverse. Now, I like that this is in reverse because there's an inclination when things go sideways, when there are challenges, there could be this need or desire to go within, to shut away the external world. But your joy is going to be in the things that you do outside of yourself that give you a sense of purpose again, that allows you to connect with people and share your wisdom, your knowledge, what you're learning, what you're understanding, and even experimenting in the world again, because there has been something new that has been created through this experience. And this is a moment to not retreat and protect, but to move into this new world, to move into new experiences, to find your joy again outside of this experience, just like this dove is flying up and away. This is an opportunity for you to find joy outside of this experience, outside of the feelings that have kept you feeling sad or heavy. This can still exist. The sadness and heaviness can still exist. But what about the things outside of this experience, the things outside of you that can provide a sense of hope, that can provide a sense of community and support in ways that this tower could never provide? So this is the exploration, and the joy could very possibly be in that exploration and that experimentation, but it requires a little bit of risk from you. It requires you to step out of your comfort zone, step out into the world and be seen, and not pull back and go within, because I feel you've done a lot of that. So now is the time to just start stepping out, to start doing things that are joyful again, whatever that may be. And these are both major arcanas. So again, I feel like this is a pretty big deal. This feels like a lifestyle shift, an identity shift. And so you're relearning how to, well, I think you're relearning what joy looks like. And maybe even reconnecting with the joys that maybe you've lost touch with along the way. Oh my goodness, another major arcana with the Strength card. So where these two meet, holding the two in equal measure, holding the difficulty, but also holding on to the hope and holding on to the future, is with great compassion and strength of really finding this respite, if you will, outside of the chaos of the city, outside of the things that are going on around you in your immediate environment. And what are the things that can really nurture you in this moment, that can really offer you a sense of safety and support, feelings of abundance? So bottom of the deck is going to be the intersection of where these two meet and what's possible when you can hold both in equal measure. Knight of Swords. I feel like once you hold these two things, you're able to make decisions a lot quicker. You're able to find a lot more focus, because I feel the heaviness and the discomfort and the challenge that you've moved through is so distracting that maybe you haven't really understood how to move forward. But by taking yourself out of that, if only for a moment or two, and being able to hold this while also holding what's next, leaning into what's next, you're able to make decisions with a lot more clarity and maybe even more quickly, because you're going to know what is correct, what is not, but also you're able to move in a direction that feels aligned and that feels very precise. I feel there's a lot of precision here with this knight. They have something on target here. And there's a lot of movement. There's fast movement. I feel you are going to move forward quite swiftly and not get hung up in the rubble of whatever has fallen. You're going to see something that's lighter, something that's brighter. You're going to start seeing glimmers of your future, and you're going to say, yes, that's where I'm going. And I believe you're already there. If you don't feel that you're there, you may be there without even knowing it. But you are here in this space of breaking free, breaking through, breaking beyond your current circumstance. But this is also by choice as well. There's nothing that's going to pull you out of it. You have to be actively in pursuit of what is next, while also making sure that you're not bypassing what you need to do, what you need to feel, what you need to understand with whatever this challenge or difficulty may be. So I want to get one final card to send you on your way. Does Soul Path 1 need to help them move forward? Help them find more joy? Manifest and assert. Manifestation is an expansion card to create, to bring into existence, to make reality. So I feel like this is a bit of a focus card for you at this time. Not focusing on what can't be put back together, but focusing on what else there might be, the possibilities, and not allowing your mind to tell you that certain things aren't possible yet, because you may not know that. You're entering something new. I feel it's something completely new that you've never experienced before. So open up to what else there could be here for you. And open yourself up to what you don't yet know. But be willing to explore, have an open mind. And really think about what you want to bring into existence, what you want to make into reality now that you have a new chapter to write. To assert, to claim, to take space, to remain honest and confident. And that is a boundary card. So what boundaries do you have to put into place in order to move you forward, in order to maybe assert yourself and not allow things to distract you, to pull you off course, to pull you back, to pull you down? And how can you claim the space that you need to move into this strength, this confidence, this future you, this higher self? And that strength is also confidence. So how can you start fostering a new sense of confidence in yourself, of what could be and who you could be from this place, from this dawn? So that's where I'm going to leave it today, my dear Soul Path 1. Let me know how that helped. I would love to hear. And if you're sensing there's more to unpack here that goes beyond this video, check out the links in the description where you can go deeper. Take care, and I'll see you soon. For those who chose the flower and butterfly card, welcome into your message. Before we get into the cards today, I would love to know what this card means for you. Why were you drawn to it? I'd love to hear in the comments. What I'm seeing here is a transformation, but also a moment of pause to see the beauty in small moments, to enjoy the small pleasures. I think butterflies, their lifespan is only a couple of weeks, so there's something about really spending time appreciating the little things, appreciating the beauty in the small things, the everyday things, the mundane things. Also, there is a spirituality and a magic coming through here. So how can you create magic in the mundane? Create wonder or tap into that wonder on the day-to-day. Because I feel your joy might not be this big grand thing. It might be in the small things that you do every day and are very mindful of those things every day. Writing could be something as well for some that might be helpful to transmute some kind of energy or thought. Let's take a look and see what else wants to be revealed in your reading today for Soul Path 2. Okay, so your difficulty, I feel, has a lot to do with loss, has a lot to do with resentment or regret. And I feel it has really allowed you to, I want to say, perfect this idea of letting go, releasing, processing emotions. And if you're not seeing yourself in that, I feel that this is what the difficulty's gift is for you, is to honor the loss, but not stay in that loss, not allow that loss to identify or be part of who you are, your story, in a way that you get lost in it. So while your difficulty might be in the things that you've lost and the things that can no longer be, there's also a sense of that experience showing you a new way forward, a new way to feel about something, a new way to look at something, to perceive something. So there's somewhat of a perspective shift, or maybe an appreciation or gratitude. Not necessarily for the experience, because it may have been really challenging or difficult, but what can you harvest or mine, if you will, from that experience that can show you something else as well? And that's not to say it will be joyful, but to see it from a more rounded perspective is what I'm getting here. And maybe that's something that you've already been doing for yourself, is moving through grief, healing from the things that have been lost, really addressing those things, those emotions that have been heavy, and making you feel like you're in despair. Justice in reverse is your joy card, and what it might look like or feel like. It's interesting, the first thing that's coming through here, and this is a bit maybe counterintuitive or maybe even controversial, is that there's something about things not working out. I want you to reflect on a time when something didn't work out, and at the time you felt really upset about it or frustrated or sad about it, but in the end, it kind of worked out better. That's what I'm getting from this. Now, that's not going to apply for everybody, but that is the strongest message. So if you're not relating to that, then this may not be your message. But your joy is in the release of the struggle and trying to keep things together, trying to keep things balanced and fair and justified and constantly adjusting to some kind of experience or circumstance. There's a freedom in this that I'm getting. You're no longer fighting to get upstream. You're releasing that fight and going with some kind of flow here, allowing and accepting. And I feel that there is great joy in that. There is joy in releasing the struggle, the releasing of control, and allowing something greater to take the wheel. And because this is a major arcana, this could be you putting your faith in something beyond you. And that was the sort of the magic and the spiritual aspect that I was getting from that at the beginning, is that you can reconnect with something that grounds you, that balances you through all this. And this acceptance of what is, being okay with that, building from that place of acceptance, especially if you've tried to hold on to something and it not quite working out, but releasing to see what else there is. There's a joy in that release. There's a joy in that letting go, even if it's not in that moment, because there's new experiences or something new that is incoming. And a lack of resistance, which I feel could be very joyful in itself. So look for the places where you don't have to fight for joy, where you don't have to justify yourself to feel joyful, where you don't have to explain yourself. Those are the areas to find the joy at this time. Queen of Swords is the meeting place. And that is so interesting because the Queen of Swords is similar to the Justice card, in which they come from a very neutral place. They collect all of the information that they need to take that information to the king to say, this is the decision that is best moving forward, and the king moves forward with that information. So to pair these two of loss and finding joy in the places of least resistance, it's about being very neutral about outcomes, having your boundaries really clear and really firm, set in place, and opening yourself up to really receive facts, information, options, all of the things, not just leaning into pure logic, not just leaning into emotion, but how do you combine those two to make some kind of decision or to know which way to go, to know where to focus your efforts? How can you use that of feeling the grief, but also releasing that in that same process? And finding spaces of ease that may require boundaries. And being not just clear with your communication, but also acting upon them as well. The Queen of Swords came out with this card as well, the Hermit in reverse. So this isn't keeping things to yourself. It's expressing them externally. It is really trusting your truth and your inner wisdom, starting to act upon that. Bottom of the deck is the Devil. So what becomes possible when you integrate both? This to me is coming back to having to face some fears. So there could be some fear in not holding this grief anymore. of hanging on and trying to keep things together. What does it mean when you let go? What does it mean when you move on? There could be some fear here. There could be some maladaptive coping mechanisms here. There could be some toxic people that put some not so nice things on you, project their own stuff onto you. Which I think that's why the Queen of Swords came through, is that there's a sense of protection that you have to have with your joy. You have to protect it just as much as you are honoring whatever it is that you've lost. Your truth deserves that same effort, that same love, that same space to breathe and to be honored in that same way. This is quite interesting, my dear Soul Path 2. I'd love to hear how this is resonating. I'm going to get you a card to send you on your way to help you step into joy a little bit more, help you find the joy. Community, society, and environment is a focus area card. So that could be this card here, this Hermit card in reverse, of looking at your environment, looking at the communities that you find yourself among, and really scrutinizing that to a degree, seeing how it affects you in both positive and negative ways, seeing if your environment needs to change in order to shift your perception, your perspective, your thinking, because this queen is at the top of this mountain so that they can get a bigger picture view. So taking yourself out of some kind of an environment might be really helpful, so that you can see things from a different angle, you can see things from a broader perspective, and not be so involved in whatever the story is that's happening here. And also look at your communities that you are connected to, the people that you're connected to. How are they positively or negatively affecting your joy? And then society. What are the societal pressures, expectations that you have, those beliefs that you're carrying about who you are and what you want to do or not do? So that's where I'm going to leave it today, my dear Soul Path 2. Let me know what shifted for you. I would love to hear. And if you're sensing that there's more to unpack here that goes beyond this video, check out the links in the description where you can go deeper. Take care, and I'll see you soon. For those who chose the Embers, welcome into your message. Before we get into the cards, I would love to know what this card means for you. Why were you drawn to it? I would love to hear in the comments. What I'm sensing here is that you might feel like something has died, in a sense of the passion has died, an idea has died, this thing is no longer working. But embers are all you need to create that next flame or fire. Even though the fire is no longer roaring as it once did, that doesn't mean the spark of motivation, the spark of something new isn't there. I just feel like there's a dormancy here. And this may be something that you've moved through where you haven't had a lot of motivation. You haven't felt the same passion for life or passion for the things that once lit you up and gave you that joy. But that doesn't mean it's gone. It just means it's dormant. I'm getting a lot of wintering energy with this. But the spark is still there. And I do feel the flame will come back. It's just a matter of tending to this fire a little bit. So let's see what else wants to be revealed in your reading today. Your difficulty. Page of Cups in reverse. This is a dream that hasn't been able to come to fruition. This could be suppressed emotions or an inner child that doesn't feel heard. And maybe that's what this desire, this lost desire is all about, is something that was suppressed, something that was tampered down, something that wasn't allowed to become. This could also be a vulnerability as well. So there's a fear of vulnerability here, a closing down of the heart, not feeling like you can express and be playful and be joyful. Yeah, it's like somebody was trying to put out the fire, or something is putting out the fire. And so I feel you're moving through life with a part of yourself that's not fully expressed or fully heard or understood. It may not be a situation, it may come through more as a feeling. But I feel that is almost what the difficulty is highlighting for you, is how much has been suppressed. What dreams have you lost? What imagination or playfulness has been put on the shelf? It's almost like the seriousness of life has created some sense of, I don't want to say bitterness, but just a lackluster. The High Priestess is your relationship with joy. This is very spiritual in nature. Conversations with spirit, conversations with nature, connections to nature. This is about the internal wisdom, the things that you know intuitively, your psychic abilities, your vision, your knowingness, your senses. Using all of those senses to guide yourself through something here. And that could be what this Page of Cups is that it's been suppressed, it's been hidden, it's been put away. So these cards could very well be speaking about someone who is psychic and intuitive and spiritual and magical and all those beautiful, creative, wonderful things. And you know that to be true, but you've somewhat been in the closet. But I feel that's part of your joy, is that whatever in the external world is trying to keep you subdued, keep you serious, keep you conservative, that has completely sapped the joy out of your life, the fire out of your fire pit. But your joy lies in those things that have been suppressed, that have been put on the shelf. And I feel that's what it's highlighting for you, is that there's something deeper missing that needs to be reactivated, that needs to be reconnected with, and that may come in spaces of quietude and silence and being in your own energy, being in your own space, cultivating that. But I feel your joy is very intuitively guided. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So this is the seriousness that I was feeling. This is time to give up the logic to a degree. Letting go of trying to make a perfect decision, of trying to find the logic in your intuition of what is felt or known on a deeper level. Trying to make sense of that, trying to explain it. So it's like a release of the pressure to explain yourself, to justify what you intuitively know. Because I don't think those things can be explained. And so by dropping this need to constantly figure out and create logic for this intuition, it's going to keep you stuck in a state of stagnancy, in a state of seriousness, in a state of fogginess or confusion, because you're not trusting what you already know to be true. The owl is in the High Priestess here. But here, it's in reverse. And when it's in reverse, it means a lack of trust, a lack of not having proper boundaries, of feeling really confused about who you are or what you need to do because there's a lot of overthinking involved. There's a lot of trying to make sense of things when sometimes it may not make sense. I don't think there isn't a logical explanation for what you experience. So allow that to be okay. Allow whatever path you are moving through, allow it to be intuitive. Allow yourself to connect with a deeper part of you or spirit, however you want to identify, with something greater than you, something more spiritual and magical in nature. And don't try to make sense of it. Don't try to figure out, is this correct or not? Trust. And when you trust that knowingness, you start to see the joy where you may not have seen it before. You start to feel more joyful because you are connecting deeply with that intuition. You are following it. You are seeing certain results that you may not have gotten before. You are becoming more playful. You are becoming more open-hearted. So yes, be serious when you need to be serious, but don't forget about the other part of you that I feel is a very big part of you, or maybe used to be a big part of you, that you have suppressed. And it could be rooted in childhood. But again, it's not about using that childhood experience to define who you are now and where you're going. It's about activating whatever gifts, skills, and talents that are inexplicable and bringing those to the table. That's where your joy is. 6 of Wands. Interesting, these blue butterflies were on Soul Path's 2 leader card. Very different messages, though. This becomes possible when you integrate both, and this is a celebratory energy. This is balance. This is victory, success, being celebrated, of finding your purpose, finding your path, feeling more hopeful about where you're going and what you're doing, celebrating yourself and being celebrated. This is achievement. So there's something here that you could be trying to achieve, but maybe you're having a hard time getting it off the ground, of turning it into a flame, of trying to reinvigorate something. This is how you reinvigorate it, through your magic, through your spirituality, through activating this inner child and hearing what it has to say, having compassion for what your inner child needs and what it went through, and giving it a sense of safety to come to the table now. That's your joy. So one final card to send you on your way, my dear Soul Path 3, Disengage. It's a boundary card, so this could be related to the boundaries we were talking about earlier. To disown something that is not aligned with who you are, to disagree, to step away from a toxic influence, and to take a break. I feel like that's what this High Priestess is. It is this active disengagement with whatever is making you feel heavy, whoever is making you feel heavy, whoever is not supporting you along your journey. That doesn't mean you need to completely cut them out of your life. That will be up to each and every person, but simply disengage with, not asking them for opinions and advice about what makes sense, because their experience and the way they identify with things are going to be completely different to yours. So this is about trusting yourself more, trusting your gifts, and really identifying what is not aligned with who you are right now, and allow yourself to disagree. Because there may be a storyline here or a belief that everybody has to accept who you are, or everybody has to accept what you're doing, everybody has to agree, or you have to suppress. And that's not the case at all. You're allowed to step away from a toxic influence. You're allowed to take a break and take time for yourself. You're allowed to do things that are joyful for you. And you are allowed to disagree with things diplomatically. You don't have to validate yourself. You don't have to explain yourself or justify yourself. I feel that's been done before and it hasn't really been serving you. So it's time to do something different now. And I believe the joy will come in once you start doing that. So that's where I'm going to leave it today, my dear Soul Path 3. Let me know how that helped. I'd love to hear. And if you're sensing that there's more to unpack here that goes beyond this video, check out the links in the description where you can go deeper. Take care, and I'll see you soon.